In a world thirsting for change, where the lifeline of humanity runs dry, a crisis looms that threatens us all. But there is hope, a way to heal our world. Join us on a journey to unlock the power of conservation. Because in the heart of this crisis lies the opportunity for a brighter future. This is our moment. Let's make it count. Hey there, gang. Hopefully I didn't startle you there with that introduction, but hopefully it did create a call to action. Because let's be honest, you know the importance of water, right? We give it to our plants. Doesn't matter if it's a agave plant, doesn't matter if it's a sunflower plant. It all needs water, right? We need water too. Now, there's a finite amount of water that exists out on our planet, though, that we can drink. So as a gardener, it's our, not just as a gardener, as a steward of the land, it is our responsibility to use water efficiently. Now, the reason why this is relevant to me is because, one, I am very concerned about our natural resources, specifically our water. But two, because I always either run the risk of overwatering or underwatering my garden. And honestly, it's not because I, just lackadaisical about my garden. It's because I have ADHD, and honestly, sometimes I just plumb either forget the water on or completely forget a water altogether. And so what I'm about to show you today is something that's going to assist with that. Since water conservation is so important, Urban Gardening with Gray has partnered with RainPoint, a company that specializes in smart irrigation systems. And by utilizing their smart 2-zone Wi-Fi water timer, I will reduce the amount of water runoff that comes from my garden. RainPoint. The RainPoint Smart Garden 2-zone irrigation system comes with everything you need inside the box. It has the 2-zone water timer, as long as a water timer quick guide. And it also has the Wi-Fi hub, power plug, and a hub user manual. But let's go ahead and show you how to set up the hub for the first time. So I know what you're probably thinking, like, hey, Gray, why do I even need a smart irrigation device? I only have like a 4x6 raised bed. I can get out there and hand water it. Well, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you can get out and hand water. But I don't know about you, but I have other things to do other than gardening. Don't get me wrong. I love my garden, and that's my happy space. That's where I'm at most of my free time. But my free time is limited. So in those moments when I don't have free time, having the smart irrigation system plugged in and I can access it right from my phone, then boom, I'm set. Or what about this summer? This summer, my family and I, we decided to take a vacation down to South Padre. Well, I had to rely on my mother-in-law to come over and make sure that she took care of my garden and watered it for me. And honestly, I don't like asking other people to do things for me. I don't like inconveniencing people. So with that being said, having the smart irrigation system back then would have been perfect. The first thing you're going to want to do after unboxing is to download the HomeGar app. It's available on Android and iOS systems. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be showing you today how to install on the iOS system. Be sure to turn on notifications and agree to the user agreement. Next, register for a free account. Now, I decided to name my system Urban Garden with Gray just to stay on brand. All right, and once you establish the location, you will be taken to your home settings. This is going to be where you can establish irrigation zones, your specific time zones, units of measure, and so forth. Now you're going to link the Smart Hub by pressing the plus symbol in the corner. All right, now just select your specific device from the menu, turn on your Bluetooth, and add your Wi-Fi. And now you're good to go. The Smart Hub is actually pretty cool. I have mine positioned right by my back door because that's the first place I go in the morning. As soon as I get my cup of coffee, I go right out to the garden. But it keeps track of all of your ambient temperatures, indoor and out, plus your next scheduled watering. And additionally, it lets you know how much water you used the last time you watered, which I think this is amazing because this will definitely help me monitor how much water I'm using in my garden on a daily and weekly basis. Now it's time to set up your 2-zone water timer. The water timer just needs 4 AA batteries in the back and then you're all set. One thing I do like is that the cover for the power supply has a rubber gasket on it to make sure to keep moisture out. Then pair the timer to the Home Guard app just as you did before, and boom.
All right, so now we're going to be taking our RainPoint Smart 2-Zone water timer and placing it on our spigot. For this job, all we'll need is just a little bit of Teflon tape. This Teflon tape is going to help so that we can keep a nice tight seal to stop any water from leaking out of it. Just place a modest amount of Teflon right around the threads of your spigot, water spout. Pull it there. And now take your timer and place it directly on your threads, making sure to get it nice and hand tight. You don't want to apply any mechanical advantage like tools and so forth, because this is a plastic thread and you can strip it by doing so. So you want to make sure that your just hand tightening will be sufficient.
Now, when it comes to irrigation options, you have a plethora of different choices. You have your sprinklers, both above ground and in ground, but I'm being honest with you, I don't find those effective. They're honestly only about 50% effective when you're talking about watering a lawn or garden. I prefer either soaker hoses embedded in the ground, or you can even go with a drip irrigation system. Now, of course, there's rain barrels and buried reservoirs and things like that. What we're focusing on today is more of a smart irrigation system so that you can be able to control remotely.
There we have it. And now it's time for the test. All right, the faucet is on. We have no water going out, and we can manually control these. Let's see. And there we go. We have water going off to zone 1. And we get all the flashing light here. That's zone 1. Let's take a look at zone 2. And now we have water going to zone 2. Boom.
All right, so now I'm going to show you how to set up an actual scheduled watering. And it's actually pretty cool because you can do this by zone. So meaning you can do it by the left side or you can do it by the right side. They can have their own schedules. Now, when I set up mine for the first time, I initially set it up for an hour. As you can see, it's got the ability to be able to change it for, by the minute or by the hour. And unfortunately, I set mine up for an hour. And after reading my Smart Hub, I saw that I had used 250 gallons just by allowing it to go for an hour. And now, of course, that's going to vary depending on how much pressure that you use in your system. But 250 gallons for the size of my 4 different zones that I'm watering, that's way too much water. Plus the fact that I'm using mulch and garden fabric to reduce evaporation. So I had to modify this. I didn't put it in the video, but I did go back and change it to a 30-minute increment. And I'm actually even debating using the mist mode, which is proposed to reduce watering by about 39%. So I want to see if that kind of takes the pressure down, but we shall see. In conclusion, we've talked about the importance of conserving water, and we've even talked about RainPoint's smart irrigation system and how it is the next smart device that you need to add to your home. So I've walked you through how to set up the system, how to set up your own irrigation times depending upon your zones, and how to do so all remotely. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have, make sure that you share it to another person so that we can all conserve water together. As we always like to say here at Urban Gardening with Gray, enjoy life, enjoy family, and enjoy your garden. Thanks for watching, guys. I mean, let's face it, it's our responsibility to be more conservative of how we use our water sources. Because since water is such a finite resource, we need to make sure that we're not just big owl.